Hey everybody, NecroVMX here, and the next entry in the top 10 best video game series ever. Sorry, the last one had some messed up volume, but it is only for the first 2 minutes. Anyway, today we're looking at number 4. Fuck yeah. And at number 4 we have the Mario series. That's right, the Mario series. And when I say the Mario series, I'm talking about all the Mario games. I'm lumping them all together. The main Mario games, all the spin-offs, all the sequels, all the remakes, all the things that are kind of related, like Donkey Kong and WarioWare. I'm all putting it under one big umbrella because they really all spin out of Mario. I mean, that's where they all came from. This is a character that is so well known that children in most parts of the world are more likely to recognize Mario than they are to recognize Mickey Mouse. That is one hell of a thing. I mean, Mickey Mouse has been around since like the 1920s. Mario has been around since like 1985. And, that's just amazing to me. So in a much shorter period of time, Nintendo has created a brand that not only lives up to what Disney has done, but they've surpassed it. And that really is something. I mean, what can I say about Mario? I mean, it's also inspired a lot of non-video game things, most of them crappy. I mean, there was cartoons and a live-action movie, and there was even a cereal. I mean, there's so many toys and everything. But I'm here to talk about the games. Now, if you're around my age, these are some of your earliest memories. Although the first console I ever had in my house was an Atari 2600, and the first game I ever remember playing is Pac-Man. The first console that I remember really latching onto was the NES, and I got it for like my 9th birthday, and I got Super Mario World and Duck Hunt. And I remember I played Duck Hunt first, but when I played Mario, there was just something to it. I mean, it's an amazing game because it takes the simple concept of going from left to right and avoiding obstacles and makes it fun just through sheer good game design. There's nothing really more than that. The game is designed well, the controls are good, and that's all they did. And I mean, there were sequels. There was Super Mario Bros. 2, which is weird and different, but it was still a great game. It wasn't until years later that we found out it was really some game called Doki Doki Panic, and then the real Super Mario Bros. 2 was later re-released as the Lost Levels, and but I mean, it was awesome. And Super Mario Bros. 3 was so hyped that they made a movie called The Wizard that was basically just a giant commercial for Mario 3 that you would get to see the game being played before it came out, which in the 80s was a big deal because we didn't have the internet. You couldn't log on to IGN and download a bunch of videos seeing games that are coming out. You would see screenshots in like Nintendo Power, but to actually see the game in motion before it came out, I mean, that's pretty big. And they put it in a movie, a major motion picture. I mean, that's fucking amazing. It just shows you the power of the Mario games. And I mean, they got better. Mario 3 was great. Super Mario World was great. Yoshi's Island was one of my favorites. And I remember, like, the first time I saw Super Mario 64, my jaw hit the ground. I mean, now it's kind of dated when you look at it, but when I first saw it, it was like, oh my god, that's amazing. And I mean, and the newer games are great. I mean, and they're all in 3D pretty much now, except for New Super Mario Brothers on the DS, which I just got a copy of recently, and it's a hell of a lot of fun. And Nintendo really needs to make a sequel to that. They don't need, it shouldn't be taking so long. Don't mess with it. Just release like another 8 levels. Seriously, that's all you need to do. New Super Mario Brothers 2. That's what I want. And I mean, the spin-offs are great too. I think the first one that I played was Dr. Mario, and it was like, what the hell is this Dr. Mario? And it turned out to be, like a puzzle game that kind of cashed in on the popularity of Tetris at the time. And I remember not even liking it because I thought Tetris was way better, but I've come to appreciate it since then. But I mean, there's been so many. I mean, how many people haven't played Mario Kart? I mean, everybody's played Mario Kart at one point or another. And, you know, whether you prefer it on the Super NES, the Game Boy Advance, the Nintendo 64, the Wii, the GameCube, the DS, they're all great in one way or another. And, you know, I mean, they're all a blast to play with multiplayer. And I mean, there's all this weird stuff like Mario Tennis and Mario Baseball and Mario Basketball and Mario Soccer and Mario Golf. I mean, who'd have thought Mario Golf? I mean, yeah, all right. There was the golf game for the NES where, you know, it was basically you played as Mario, but I think Mario was in it. But I mean, you know, what the fuck? These games are actually really good, and there's Mario Party for party games, and then there was the spin-offs that their own characters got, like Wario has the Wario Land series and the WarioWare series, and Donkey Kong went on to be in Donkey Kong Country and Donkey Kong 64 and all those weird rhythm games that they have. And, you know, even Luigi got a couple of his own games. I mean, you know, he got Luigi's Mansion, which, you know, isn't as bad as, you know, what people want you to think. It's actually a pretty good game. It's not like really that type of Mario gameplay. It's more like a Ghostbusters game. And I mean, I tend to like the ones that people don't like so much. Like a lot of people bitched about like Super Mario Sunshine. I thought it was a blast. I played through the whole thing. I really enjoyed Super Mario Sunshine, so I don't really see the big deal about that. And I mean, everybody knew this was going to be on a list because you can't do a list like this and not include the Mario games. It would be some sort of video game crime. I mean, it really would be. You would have to be some asshole with a live journal and a fucking avatar of Cloud Strife, and your list would be just like 10 RPG series, all of them made by Square. So, and nothing from before the PlayStation. That's the level of fail that you would have to be at to make a list like this and not include the Mario games. You would have to be a massive tool. But yeah, Mario's appeared in pretty much every genre. There's even been role-playing games like Super Mario RPG and the Paper Mario series, which spun off into like a regular Mario game called Super Paper Mario. And there's the Mario and Luigi games. There's everything. There's puzzle games, there's sports games, there's action games. The only thing that they haven't done is like a Mario first-person shooter, and I think that would be awesome. They should do that. Shooting fireballs and shit. Koopa shells. You know, that would be awesome. They could do anything with this character, and they have done almost everything with this character. And there's been very few bad games, and most of the terrible ones were not even made by Nintendo, and therefore I don't really consider to be part of the series. So yeah, that's Mario at number 4. Join me soon with the top 3.